Right, good morning folks. Oh, I slept good last night. It was silent and quiet on this mountainside. No wind, sheltered in this little valley bit. I'm gonna get up pretty soon and start preparing to head down to civilization for the first time in many a day. That's the sunrise over the valley. Wow. So I'm gonna get some breakfast now, make some coffee, and then get on the road. So that was the way that we came from yesterday, and that's the way we'll be heading down today. So we're gonna head down into this valley. There's a whole lot more four-wheel driving to do before we get onto a main road to go to Oviedo, which will be a nice way to start the day. So we've got to kind of cross a couple of mountains, and then we'll be hitting a valley that will take us to Oviedo. So we're gonna hit the road right now and head towards Oviedo. This is a beautiful morning. Okay, let's start her up. Oh. That is the starter motor that I consistently put off doing anything with because it kind of healed itself last year. I was like, oh, that's brilliant, it's fine, but it's done that before. It's coming time where I'm gonna have to pull that starter motor and rebuild the whole bloody thing. I'm just like, just don't have time right now, you know what I mean? I've got so much other stuff going on, and the amount of time that this trip is taking me is blowing my freaking mind. So yeah, that'll have to be another day. Hopefully it'll survive until God knows when. Okay, let's put our maps on. This is the mountain that we came in on over last night, so that's up there. And the green here is where we're heading. So we're going to go down into this valley just now, and then yeah, this is all four-wheel drive all the way along here, I think. I gently nosed the cruiser down out of my camp spot and out onto the trail. I'm located in the remote backcountry in the extremely rural province of Asturias in Spain. My goal today is the city of Oviedo, the state capital, where I've arranged with some contacts to have new wheels and tyres delivered, ready to have them fitted to the cruiser. After several disasters on the trail, having bent rims and ripped out the sidewalls of tyres, I'm long overdue getting this problem resolved. But between the city and I lays about 80 kilometres of hard off-roading, and after ripping out the sidewall of my tyre, I'm still travelling without a spare. A disaster just waiting to happen, especially when off-roading alone in remote areas. I've been trying to get to Oviedo to pick up these tyres for several days now, but when you're this deep in a network of four-wheel drive tracks in some of the remotest parts of Spain, turns out that's easier said than done. I'm now within touching distance of reaching the city and finally banishing this recurring problem. I just have all my fingers crossed that today goes well and that I can avoid any of the trademark disasters that have dogged this trip so far. Dude, what a way to start the day, eh? Absolutely incredible views, and these are some actually really high peaks up here, real big jagged peaks on them. God, it's gorgeous land. It's just amazing. Look at the blue on it, man. This just gets better and better, mate. This is a really beautiful day. I'm having such a nice time. The sun's out, the birds are singing, the views are just breathtaking on all sides. It feels really good to get out and get going early, honestly. I feel like I'm getting the jump on the day. The land is just gorgeous. Look at this, man. This is proper rural Spain, this. Because I'm in such a deep gully, my maps are actually really struggling to position me. The satellites are not pinging. All right, let's carry on. Throughout the course of the morning, I pushed deeper into wild, rural Asturias province, some of the most remote areas that I've been so far on this expedition. I drove through tiny logging communities, old mining areas where the pits had long since ran dry, and threaded my way through valleys and over mountains via endless red dirt trails.
Slow down, there's nothing to get you, can always turn it around.
Alright, so we're back to climbing the other side of that valley now. So we followed the river and the valley floor for the last kind of 25 minutes. Absolutely gorgeous down there. And now we're heading back up the other side of the mountain. I mean, these roads must have been in use for thousands of years, I would think. I feel like I'm getting a really personal experience of what life is actually like here in northern Spain. Even now, I'm already feeling the feeling that I'm not even scratching the surface.
Slow down, there's nothing to get you, can always turn it around. Oh, I shouldn't have met you, I only let you down. In your bedroom, my thoughts were thinking loud. Oh, I shouldn't have met you, I shouldn't have left you. Shouldn't have left you.
After traversing deep valleys and thick forests for the whole day so far, the trail opened up onto a high mountain plateau, displaying views for 100 miles or more onto the horizon. What a view, man. This is unbelievable, man. This is case in point what I imagined when I planned this expedition. Valley floor that way, valley floor that way, dirt road ahead of me. Oh, mate, this is an adventure, brother, honestly. Oh, no way, dude. Oh, this is incredible, bro. I could see on my area maps that I was about to drop significant altitude, and it looked like the way down was going to be an impossibly steep track, thankfully paved over in concrete. I glanced down at my inclinometer and it read 35 degrees downward slope. I eased the cruiser down into low 4 gear for the descent and let the old beast pick its own way down this remarkable trail. Dropped it into low there just because it was such an extreme angle and the stakes were high, but these views, man, look at it, it's just utterly gorgeous land. Wow. No way, bro. Tiny little villages down below there, smoke coming out of chimneys. Spain is a developed country, but it's just so vast that I assume these little villages and stuff, they don't have gas or mains, anything. Sure, they'll have water being piped in from surrounding mountains and stuff. There's a heavy reliance still on wood for heat and cooking and stuff. See down there, that is like a little tiny settlement in the valley. A little bit of mist and smoke hanging on the horizon. We are now at, yeah, just shy of 1,000 meters above sea level. And that is probably sea level down there, I would think, or just above. It just gets better and better at each turn. Look at this, dude. Wow. My God. So I'm now coming down off the mountainside into the valley where there's a paved road that's going to take us to Oviedo. I will come back up into this part to continue along the journey, and I don't know when the hell I'm going to leave Oviedo, when I've sorted all my stuff, like probably new wheels, new tyres, all that. The other thing is I'm still travelling without a spare, which is freaking lethal. I never intended really to continue four-wheel driving like this without a spare. Like, that's the way that you get yourself in real trouble. But I've managed to avoid it so far, so long may that continue. I re-entered civilization through a small red-roofed town in the valley floor, bringing an end to a several-day spell off-grid, deep in the Asturian mountains. I picked my way slowly through a couple of small towns, heading towards a main road, which would in turn take me towards a highway, an arterial route that would take me to the capital. Woo! First time on a highway in a while. I'm hoping that new tyre and wheel hold up. Oh man, I'm like breaking all the rules that I set for myself when that happened. I was like, no highway driving, no four-wheel driving, we'll just have to limp it in, and here I am doing all those things. Just gotta hope for the best. Like, got no choice at this point. Okay, so this is Oviedo, the state capital of the beautiful Asturias. On the approach there, it looked like a beautiful old centre of the city, like with churches and really nice old buildings. So yeah, I'm excited to explore this city actually, not that I'll have all that much time to do so. It's looking really nice. I spent just short of a week in Oviedo, exploring the city on foot while I awaited the delivery of my new rims and tyres. I'd been put in touch with a local four-wheel drive enthusiast called David. He's based in a small town called Turon, just to the south of Oviedo. And this legend had offered to have everything delivered to his workshop so I could have the wheels and tyres fitted locally. He'd also said that I could come and stay at his place and use his facilities to perform some much needed maintenance on this Land Cruiser. Alright, I'm here with my new friend David, and he is offering to let me have this shop. And we're doing a lot of work on the Land Cruiser, absolute legend. And so yeah, we're gonna be here for the next couple of days. We're gonna change the wheels and tires and do a whole bunch of different things that need to be done. The one thing that is actually a problem that we've just discovered is this, and you're gonna know exactly what it is straight away. This is the classic problem, the dowel pin moving its way out of the hub. That's a problem that I kind of thought that was gonna come back, but I guess we'll see if we can deal with it. I'm gonna be doing a lot of different things. Sí, mi nuevo amigo David es muy amable. Muchas gracias.
Bienvenido.
Muchas gracias, amigo.
Welcome to the banquet.
Hey, buen inglés, tú sabes. Incansables Off-Road en Instagram y YouTube. Perfecto, perfecto. One of the first things to have gone wrong on this expedition was a leak from the brand new stainless steel water tank I'd built before I left. This had started before I'd even left the UK, and the position of the leak on the filler pipe meant that I ended up losing about a third of each tank of fresh water that I put in this thing. Since I had David's well-equipped shop at my disposal, I wanted to try to get this problem bottomed out, as well as a list of other small issues that I'd been putting off because I've been hard at it on the road for so long. I rolled under the vehicle and started the process of removing the water tank, undoing the fixing bolts, dropping the brackets, and eventually pulling out the tank itself. Right here is where the tank had been leaking from, due to a bad seal on the coupling. Without looking up and ordering specific parts for this had me pretty stumped. But as soon as David clapped eyes on it, he had some ideas. Eres profesional, David. Mira, tuve un problema con un fuga de tanque. Y David está haciendo una cosa propio, se dice como una cosa específico.
Artesanal.
Artesanal, exactamente. Artisanal, exactamente,
Vale,
es igual.
Yo digo en español y tú te lo dices en inglés.
Perfecto.
Vale.
Muy bien.
Con el tubo de PVC calentamos para que esto ablande, se quede blando, para introducir.
Sí.
Cortamos, ponemos el tapón
Sí.
y sobre ello el enganche de manguera.
Perfecto.
Ahora tú en inglés.
Sí. David tiene todas las cosas en su man cave, en su taller aquí.
¡Vamos!
Hey.
Esto lo voy a limpiar para que quede... para que se vea bien.
Sí, pero está bien. Eso bajo.
Entra a presión
Sí.
y te voy a poner una abrazadera para que sujete.
Muy bien. Excelente.
No va a perder agua nunca.
Sí. Excelente, porque estuvo perdiendo como este nivel.
Claro, de aquí hacia
sí,
abajo.
abajo. Entonces es como un third, un tercio.
Sí, un tercio, sí.
Tercio, sí, de mi tanque.
Son unos cuantos litros.
Sí, exactamente.
Vale, pues nada, limpiar.
So this is the connection artesanal. This is the pipe, so this has been like specifically heat molded to fit the tank. And then this thing goes in here with the rubber, and that part passes all the way through. So yeah, this is going to be so good, and it means that I'm going to lose a third of my tank like I have been. It's going to like literally mean the difference between me having to go back to civilization or staying out in the bush for like another probably 2 days. It's a massive improvement this on what I have. I'm going to put the tank back up now. And while I'm doing that, David is working on my heat exchanger, so we'll hopefully get that done today. The heat exchanger is the device that heats my water while I'm showering off-road, and in recent weeks it hasn't been doing a great job. This thing is pretty old, and I'm suspecting there's some calcification on the fins inside, so I've decided to replace the whole unit. This is going to mean pulling the old one and splicing it into this coolant hose. And then we have to look at the axle thing, the hub thing. I don't know what we're going to do about that, to be honest, but we'll see. Okay, so this thing is ready to go back in and under. If you watch my series on the build, you'll remember how much of a F-on this actually is. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully today won't be as difficult as it has been in the past. Reinstalling a tank like this is awkward rather than difficult, because you've got to support the weight while dealing with relatively complex mounting systems. I fought on with this one for about 45 minutes or so, but it was definitely quicker this time around, having learned from my mistakes when I first installed it. Okay, so I've got the coolant pipes here, and this all taken out, so this is the place where the heat exchanger goes. So this is the old one. As you can see, the new heat exchanger unit is significantly larger than the old one. Theoretically, this means more efficient heating, but it also makes it more difficult to mount. ¿Piensas que puedo montarlo al lado o se necesita hasta arriba?
No, creo que puedes montarlo de lado, no, ¿qué problema hay?
Sí.
Es un circuito cerrado, no hay problema.
Yo creo que también, ¿eh? Alright, so this is the thing, and basically I didn't have the right sized connections here, and David's dad is a plumber and has like all of this stuff in stock like right next door, and so yeah, he's fit me up with connector pieces that are like an adapter for this, so the hose pipe is still gonna fit on here and work with everything, so it's ideal. This dude has everything and is just a total legend as well, as I've said before. Next job on the list is this dowel pin that keeps working its way out, and David has a plan for this too. Vale, eso es un... ¿Cómo se dice eso?
Esto, como diríamos en España, una trampa.
Una trampa. Una trampa.
Pero bien hecha.
Sí.
Esto. Aquí tenías problema que, ¿cómo se llama?
Dowel pin,
vale,
en inglés.
Que sale.
Sí.
Pues vamos a fabricar.
Fantástico, amigo. Eso.
Esto en acero inoxidable.
Sí.
Para que al atornillar queda por debajo.
Sí, para retener el ¿cómo se dice eso en español?
Es que no sé exactamente.
Sí.
En este término, aquí me pierdo.
Sí.
Pero bueno, para retener esa pieza que no salga.
Ajá, exactamente.
Entonces,
exactamente.
Primero papel y ahora acero inoxidable.
Sí, y vamos a fabricar eso. Fantástico. Sí. David, el profesional. He tenido muchos problemas con del eje Entonces, sí, eso es como la idea de David, que hacer eso.
Sí, de mano pensamos en soldar,
Sí.
en poner un tornillo y con un tornillo, un perno, sujetar. Y después de mucho pensar, bueno,
Mejor
salió
hacer
esta idea.
esta cosa. Sí.
Yo creo que bien.
Sí, yo también. While David was manufacturing the new retainer plates, I'd gotten the heat exchanger well positioned and all wrapped up. Hicimos todo con el intercambiador, ¿se dice? Sí, entonces eso es listo. Y arrancamos y está bien.
Nuestra herramienta
Sí.
más importante,
Siempre el martillo, ¿no?
por si acaso.
Por supuesto. Claro, eso es probablemente el más importante.
Es zumo.
Sí.
Zumo de melocotón.
La cerveza, el martillo. Okay, so it's quite early in the morning, and David from Incansables Off-Road and I are going to Mieres to get these wheels and tyres fitted. David is just such a legend, he's helping me out so much. I followed David's Jimny out into a cold, rainy morning, a little bleary-eyed from working late into the night on the cruiser the previous evening. We passed through the streets of Turon, a small ex-mining town that lines the sides of a valley, heading towards the larger town of Mieres, the next largest population centre, where I was going to get the wheels and tyres mounted up. Qué bueno eso.
Vamos, muy frío. Imprescindible.
Imprescindible. Se ve muy bien. Es que necesitamos
Temprano y frío.
temprano y frío, sí. En una mañana como así necesitamos tomar café.
Perfecto.
Salud. Cheers. Vale, vamos a, ¿cómo se dice? A poner las ruedas y llantas. Llantas nuevas. Vamos a ponerlo ahora.
Y las ruedas de Falken.
De Falken.
Tengo ahí 2 llantas ahí atrás.
Tenemos atrás. I pulled into the tyre shop with great anticipation. Both wheel and tyre problems have blighted this expedition from the very start. Not only were the all-terrain tyres just not suitable for what I'm putting them through, leaving me buried and stranded in the deep mud of northern Spain several times, they also have a sidewall that's just not cut out for hard off-road terrain, the like of which I'm seeing every single day. This has resulted in me having ripped the tyre off the wheel several different times and even sliced the sidewall clean open, meaning the tyre was toast. It's no exaggeration to say that these repeated disasters have jeopardised the very future of this expedition. It had gotten to the point where something was happening pretty much every other day, an untenable situation on a 7,000-mile off-road route. This is the moment where I'm going to get the new wheels from Euro 4x4 parts. I'm getting new Falcon Wild Peak mud terrain, so this has been a long time coming, as you know. Like, the whole thing has been a nightmare with wheels and tyres for literally years now, and so yeah, this is the moment where it's all gonna get better. The BF Goodriches get replaced with the Falcons. These are the new Wild Peaks. These are badass. Look at the tread on these bad boys.
Falken Team.
Falcon team.
Yeah.
Falcon.
Hey.
Equipo de Falcon. Serious stuff. This is going to cut through mud and all the stuff I've been getting stuck in for so long. Falcon Wild Peak mud terrains are something that viewers have been recommended to me for literally years. The thing that makes these things so special is the 3-ply Duraspec sidewall. This means that the tyre has 3 layers of material on the sidewall. Most tyres have only 2 layers, making the Wild Peak mud terrain an exceptionally durable tyre. Combine this with a highly optimised 3-pitch tread pattern, and you've got a tyre that is well deserving of its legendary reputation off-road and on. Mud terrain tyres are traditionally thought of to be a bit clumsy and noisy on-road, but thanks to extensive testing and adaptation by the engineers at Falcon, these are some of the quietest mud terrains you can find for on-road use, while also performing exceptionally off-road, whether that be on rocks, sand, of course mud, and even through snow. Rims from Euro 4x4 parts, these are absolutely badass. This is the same offset as the ones that I already have, which I wanted to keep, and these are all brand new, so it's going to be so much better with the new Falcons Wild Peak mud terrain. Absolutely beautiful. It's literally going to allow me to continue with my trip. I literally couldn't carry on until I managed to get these new Falcon Wild Peak mud terrain. So yeah, huge thanks to Yuri for figuring this out for me. I'm really, really happy to be part of the Falcon team. You know, when all this stuff was happening, I was having like literally scores of people messaging me saying, get Falcons, get Wild Peaks. And it just so happens that I managed to kind of like figure this out. Somos profesionales.
Profesionales.
Exactamente.
Vas a tener que hacer pi, pero somos
Sí.
putos profesionales.
Profesionales. ¿Creen que Instagram se puede hacerlo? Fucking professionals.
Ay.
Finally time to say goodbye to the trusty red spare. Se ve bien, ¿no?
Uf,
¿Qué tú piensas? ¿Mejor que eso?
yo creo que un poco mejor, ¿eh? ¿Esto para qué es?
Sí.
¿Para guardar cerveza?
Sí, con la cerveza. Eso es donde ponen mis cervezas, sí. And these are the plates that David manufactured for me yesterday to hold my dowel pins in. So, yeah, stoked on this as well. This has been such a productive visit. Alright, first impressions of Falcon Wild Peaks. They are driving beautifully. Like, this is freaking night and day, man. They feel so much more stable on the road. Like, I was expecting, honestly, with it being mud terrains, for the performance on road to be a little bit worse than the ATs. Obviously, I was expecting that the off-road performance would be amazing and I would make up for that. But these are actually performing better. They feel more stable and they're actually, I think, quieter. It sounds insane. Than the all-terrains that I've just chucked out. It's mental. These are literally the best tyres that I've ever used on this vehicle, without a doubt, straight off the bat. I haven't even had them off road yet. I'm just driving down the road and they feel amazing. The truck feels like so stable. I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe how stable it feels. The tyres are fatter, like quite a lot wider in terms of tread than the BFGs. And it just feels like it's the placement on the road it has like a wider stance. It feels more aggressive, feels more stable. I cannot wait to get these off-road. If this is the performance on-road for a mud tyre as well. Honestly, this is actually transformative. I spent the next few days living in the Incansables workshop. My time spent with David and Katy was a period that I'll remember for the rest of my life, characterised by endless laughter, true rural kindness and hospitality. It was to me a clear example of how like-minded strangers can become great friends in a short time. We ate, drank, and David took me on four-wheel drive excursions around the Turon Valley. I leaned into some of the weirder traditions of the local area and ended up riding shotgun with David as we led a carnival procession of 1,000 people through the streets of the town for a local festival. So basically, I found myself in the car with David and we're leading the procession of the carnival, so like the head car. We have a fucking fish on the back. Es una vida, ¿no? Este chico tiene la vida más loca. En serio, tenemos un puto pescado. Turon is somewhere I'll always remember fondly, thanks to the kindness and hospitality of these great people. So we're woken up in the tyre for the last time and we're going to go and do some routes on the mountain. So these guys are going to come with me. ¿Estás listo, amigos?
Listo. Ready.
Excelente. Vamos a la montaña, ¿no?
Vamos a dar un paseo.
Vamos a-
Paseo más o menos tranquilo.
Más o menos.
Más o menos.
The plan here was for us to head south in convoy together. We'd tackle some four-wheel drive routes together, and then David and Katy would head back to Turon, while I continued ever westwards on my trail. We drove out of town together, and I felt nostalgic already, passing through Turon for what was going to be the last time. We hit the highway out of town, back towards the mountains, where I'd left the trail behind almost 2 weeks previously. At the time, I'd thought that I was coming into Oviedo just to get some new wheels and tyres, but I could have had no idea that I'd be returning to the trail with new friends and a litany of new experiences that I knew I'd remember for the rest of my life. We pulled off the highway into a filling station to fuel up and grab a few supplies before we headed out into the Asturian wilderness. We're just fueled up and now we're heading to the mountain right now. This is so exciting, honestly. I'm here with my new wheels, my new tyres from Falcon. Gonna hit some muddy trails, hopefully not get stuck anymore. I'm gonna properly carry on my route. And it feels like this is the first day of the rest of the trip.